Good morning, everybody. I wanted to revisit a concept that I had shared a while back, and part of the sharing and presentation process was a video from a series called The Great Shaolin, talking about where the focus of this series was the Shaolin Monastery. And this is a historical series. So it's set way back in history and early days of China. I think right around the time of the transition from the Han Dynasty into the Ming Dynasty. And this focuses on the Shaolin monks. They were Buddhists, but they were fighting monks. Part of their study and their worship and their training was to perfect themselves in healing arts, but also the fighting arts. And their martial arts prowess was well known, and they were a monastery of basically fighting monks, but they were Buddhist and followed a path of nonviolence. However, their power was known, and so the political chessboard around all that, the constant vying for power between the various factions, were always trying to enlist these guys as on their side because like one of these trained Shaolin monks, and this is within a country where martial arts were a path for almost everybody. They were of the elite, these Shaolin monks, so they were constantly being kind of interfered with. Anyway, I'm going to share this particular scene that I found meaningful for myself. Among many meaningful moments in this series, it's a very good series. I'm a former Chinese Mandarin linguist, trained in the United States Army. So I have a good grounding in Mandarin language, and so, and I'm a martial artist, so the culture of Asia has always been very fascinating to me. But anyway, this particular scene I'm going to share from the Great Shaolin involves basically letting go of the past. And it's a scene that shows a young man his family's been killed. This guy has been, I think it's actually by the main person who's going to found the Ming Dynasty. So this is a very, I don't want to use the word evil, but he's a very ruthless individual. But he killed this entire family of this one young man that we're about to see this scene with. And the kid has been admitted into the Shaolin monastery, and his design is because he wants to grow and gain in power and martial arts skills. And plus he has like a lifelong illness that the monks have been curing him, keeping him alive through their acupuncture and their herbal skills and whatnot. So you're going to see this young man. He's been in the monastery, and but he keeps messing up, and he's been kicked out, and now he's really turned over a new leaf, and he's trying to but the head monk, the abbot, told him, okay, you have 10 days to make this one monk who's taken a vow of silence, and this monk hasn't spoken in 10 years. And the abbot has tasked Wing Dao is the name of the young man who's trying to get back in the monastery. He has 10 days to make this monk talk, who hasn't spoken in 10 years. And the reason why the monk hasn't spoken is because there was this big, and this is the example of what happens when the fighting power of the monks, the Shaolin monastery, and it is interfered with by the secular powers. And so there was a big sort of confrontation where these top level elite fighters that were even among the elite, they were called the Shaolin Bronzemen. And so this monk that hasn't spoken in 10 years, his comrades were killed in this battle, and there was a blame placed upon the abbot. So this monk went into silence, and he's been doing his studies and separate from the monastery. So Wing Dao, the kid who's trying to get back in the monastery, has been tasked with making this monk speak. And if he can get him to speak, then Wing Dao will be admitted back into the monastery. So I'm going to share this scene, and this is what you're going to see. The Wing Dao and his little monk understudy friend, they think they found a way to make this guy talk, and it involves a board where the names written in blood of the monks who were killed 10 years ago that made this monk take this vow of silence. So that's what I'm going to share. But there's a point to this scene, and there's a point to this video that involves how life in the 3D digital matrix is an illusion. And we are here in this type of school, our little sparks of divinity, source divinity, our fractals of God are in this 3D school to learn lessons. And here's a lesson that we're all about to share together. If you, the esteemed viewer, would accompany me on this journey.
车大哥，你这到底干啥呀？啊！哎呀，不是吧，车大哥？不管了，不管了，不管了，去，把他给我叫出来。啊，去！ 周星师傅，周星师傅，周星师傅，周星师傅，周星师傅，周星师傅，你快下去看看吧。车大哥在方丈的屋里发了个床板。哎，师傅，
庚戌年8月初3，少林蒙冤遭劫，我16头人。 悉数遇难，当年以少林方丈之名，血书于此，以铭记在心，不忘此难。正义、正远、正度、正事。 正难、正空、正德、正贤、正文、正觉、正化、正知、正通、正悟、正见。
师傅呢？师傅在坐禅，怎么了？师傅，师傅，出事了，出大事了！
Age 49 to 63 and not able to work. This message is for you. New rules in 20.
正行，人世间的一切执念都是镜花水月，每人所见所遇都是上天的安排，一切都是缘。 缘起缘灭，缘聚缘散，这都是天意呀。你修闭口禅10年，得来的无非是一场空。既然天意如此安排，又为什么要执着？不如放下。
车大哥，车大哥，不是吗？10天。被报仇，我修了10年，我发过愿找到他，救他们，现在长征到不了。你就不给我留了？为什么？
正行师伯，你修了10年的闭口禅，
You practice Zen of
戴了
silence.
10年的枷锁，
You wore those shackles.
为了这些名字，那你想过正念师伯吗？他这10年又是怎么过的？他又有多少说不出来的苦？正念师伯以方丈之名，用血把这16个同人的名字刻在床板底下，整了10年。这16个名字对他来说，那何尝不是捆了10年的枷锁呢？
That's the abbot of the monastery that just kneeled down.
南无萨
Wang Dao. He got into the monastery. Wang Dao. So anyway, that particular moment when the the other monk interjected and spoke, explaining or just pointing out that all obsessions in this world are just illusions, and why should we obsess over the arrangements that God makes for us and to learn our lessons. Rather, God creates these lessons for us, and we, before we incarnate, there's a sort of a contracts that are written and things that helps people understand. For us to go through this life and learn our lessons, the soul, the spark of divinity, has worn many genetic vehicles. The spark of the soul within us has been many things throughout its progression, learning its lessons, and that scene that I shared was just a reminder that all obsessions in this world are just illusions of the ego, and that fate is partly the lessons that we are meant to learn in this life, to transcend and clear the trauma of the past, clear negativity, and stay centered within our God particle and within our heart chakras as the assemblage point where we are able to continue our journey with the higher consciousness in this 3D classroom digital matrix, so that we may be shining examples for our brothers and sisters. Namaste, namaskaram.